Hey everyone, I'm making this video out of schedule because the topic is so serious and it has gotten me so mad about what is actually happening, not in the Ukraine, not because of the situation that you might know that there has been an explosion inside of the barracks with Ukrainian prisoners of war that were held on the Russian occupied territory. But I got really mad because this is something that I was really hoping that the media and journalists, the people that are professional, not some guy on YouTube, would cover and then explain how Russia is lying and how they are actually killing the prisoners of war and making war crimes. But apparently, I'm it's too much to ask to follow this simple flowchart that we have on the right side of the screen, right? If the Russia speaks, it's lying. We know that, like in the past 5 months of war, Russia has been lying. Before the war started, Russia has been lying. Russia has been lying at every occasion it opened some mouth to make some kind of a public statement. We are now basically half a year past this. I thought by this point everything is clear and understood. However, if you see the article, suddenly some kind of a note of neutrality appeared in our media, and obviously I couldn't just not notice just how ridiculously weird it was that suddenly this Russia and Ukraine trade blames, like there's two sides of the medal, like this neutrality kind of perspective to this thing is. And then you see that it's like BBC, Reuters, CBC, NBC, and so on, like all of the major news articles. If you just Google this, Russia and Ukraine trade blame, you will see that every single article made a news with this headline. And this got me really mad at the media and the journalists that are doing this professionally. So what's the issue? Well, let's go into depth. Why I am mostly certain, right? Obviously, I'm speculating because I don't have the direct access to the place, but I am pretty certain that this was a setup by the Russians, and they are completely inhuman. Firstly, let's talk about the location where all this happened. It happened in Olenivka. And Olenivka, if you notice, is very, very close to the front line. Now, if you are commanding a war, right? If you gather some really valuable prisoners of war, right? Like really someone that is considered heroes on the Ukrainian side, why would you put them pretty much next to the front line? Who does that? Because anything can happen. There might be a pincer move, like a straight attack to just retake that settlement and maybe free up the prisoners, and then the Ukrainian side will get prisoners. Who would do this? So there was already some signs that this was not a very straightforward location to put the people in. However, what was actually disclosed yesterday, and there was obviously sides saying that this was, what is important is that Russia finally made a statement, not saying like 10,000 different versions. They actually described one version of events, saying, whoa, this is actually been firing HIMARS systems with their rockets, and they have basically attacked this prisoner camp and everyone got killed. So now we have actual statement that we can verify. However, now what was revealed is the satellite pictures. Yay! We have the satellite pictures before and after the location. And we know how HIMARS systems are operating, right? They fire rockets and then there's a huge explosion and pretty much everything around that explosion just goes boom. What we see here is how this facility looked like before it got struck. And here we see how this facility looks like after it got struck. If you didn't recognize, it is around this center bunker, not the bunker, it's like just a building, is where the actual prisoners of war were located. So, you see, there is literally just this building that's been attacked by this. So we also don't see a big crater from a HIMARS rocket. So the Russian version doesn't stand against the facts. So anyone with their eyes can see and say, this was definitely not a HIMARS rocket. But okay, let's think about this way. It's quite close, so maybe, like I'm not saying that it probably is not, well, it's most definitely is not. But let's say that maybe Ukrainians have shoot one of their artillery pieces to destroy that building. Well, then the problem that I see with this one is I'm not a military expert, but I've seen how artillery is working both on Russian and Ukrainian side. And for me, it's a simple understanding of like math equation, essentially like a linear programming puzzle. So we know that artillery, like some artillery spot, and then it's shooting to some other spot. And we know that because artillery is not perfect, it has some circular deviation from the desired target. So usually there would be certain calculations, right? So what would happen is that artillery would shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot until they get certain percentage chance where they can say with a good enough certainty that they have hit the target that they wanted. That's how probably artillery works, that I'm expecting. Like maybe people that knows a little bit better can explain it to me. But this is how I see it, because this is how I've seen artillery work on the front lines. And obviously, on the other hand, artillery has limited time because the enemy is looking that, oh, there is something flying in. Therefore, they're trying to target where the artillery striker is located and therefore strike it with it. So they have some limited time to essentially shoot as much as they can to hit with precision the target that they want, and then basically run out. With these pictures, what we see basically is there was pretty much one explosion that was happened inside of a building, and we don't see any craters or any kind of significant damage around this. If you can look at the other buildings, nothing has absolutely touched them. They are as clear as and pretty and nice and fresh. So it was just an explosion inside one building that just happened to kill everyone. So with that said, I think it's paints the picture quite clear. It definitely was not an artillery attack, and it was definitely not a HIMARS strike, because then there would not be a building like this. There would be probably everything around the center of the screen would be just one big crater. So I am completely astounded by the fact that by this point we still don't follow the flowchart on the right as a default, and we still have media and the coverage of the situation still has some kind of neutrality around this whole situation. Russia is an aggressive country. A day before the strike and destruction of Olinovka, the killing of prisoners of war, the video was released about mutilation of a prisoner of war by the Russians. So why are we still talking about this? I'm sorry, this is very emotional video for me. The topic is just very, very sensitive. I saw the video of mutilation. It got me really sick on the inside. It twisted, like I got physically sick watching it. So I am emotional and mad, and the fact that the facts are so much on surface that anyone with a logical thinking pattern can understand that it was definitely not a HIMARS strike. It definitely was not an artillery strike, because like then there would be like things destroyed all around it. So who got access to this facility to just randomly kill Ukrainian prisoners of war without damaging any of the Russians, by the way? Wink, wink. Yeah, so there we go. Another video.